Please, Dorian, come in. We were just talking about you.
Please, my dear, sit down, won't you? I was just telling Charles that we must call and express our sympathy. Dorian, what a terrible, tragic time you've had.
Thank you.
We both know how fond you were of Diane.
Her death was horrible, but no more than the way she deceived you and betrayed your trust.
Elizabeth, Charles, I hesitated coming here and adding to your troubles. But I don't want you to hear this from anybody else.
Hear what?
Before Diane died, she made a confession.
Go on, my dear. Nothing much shocks us anymore.
She said that she was in the car with Jamie that hit Allison Perkins. I hate to be the bearer of such terrible news.
So Diane claimed that she and Jamie ran down the Perkins girl.
Not only that, but it happened in my car.
And you never knew?
No, John and I were out of town at the time. Apparently, Jamie forced Diane to be his getaway driver that day he escaped from the police.
I knew it. I suspected it all along, that Jamie had someone else out there with another car.
How did the Perkins girl get involved?
Just bad luck. Jamie was so anxious to escape that he put his foot down over Diane's and pushed on the accelerator.
Oh, and just ran her down like an animal in the road.
Charles, please, for heaven's sake.
Sorry, that was a bit crass.
And I'm sorry. The last thing you need is another terrible revelation. Most of all, I do not want either of you blaming yourselves for what Jamie's done.
As far as I'm concerned, there's only one person to blame.
That's not fair, Mother, and you know it.
Charles, I know the disarray that she has put this family in. Your career is in shambles. Jamie is a fugitive from justice. The only good thing she's done is to go off for a relatively quiet divorce.
Mother, please, that's enough. If this family is in a shambles, it's the result of a combined effort. It's not just Judith.
Have you heard any news about Jamie?
Oh, nothing good. Last I heard from my contact in Buenos Aires was that he was leaving a wake behind him of drugs, kidnapping, and maybe even murder.
Lord, I can't take any more. Why can't they just catch him and stop him for his own good?
It's not just for his sake. As long as Jamie's free, nobody is safe. Jamie won't escape the police forever.
Sometimes I wish he'd just disappear without a trace.
No, then you'd be wondering all the time when he was coming back. I'm afraid the best thing is for him to be arrested and punished. Then this nightmare will finally end for you.
Amen to that. And there is something else that's going to be ended as well.
No, Charles, you know how I hate it when you're cryptic.
Very well, Mother. I will tell you. I've made a decision. Regardless of what happens to Jamie, I am getting out of politics.
You can't be serious.
I am serious.
But you spent your entire life in the political and diplomatic arena. Goodness, you cannot simply toss away a talent like that.
Dorian, I'm not tossing anything away. I'm just getting out while I have 1 ounce of public respect left.
It's because of Jamie, isn't it? You're letting him add one more casualty to his list. Your brilliant career. Well, I won't allow it.
My brilliant career, Mother, has been in total eclipse now for months. It's the wise man who knows when to cut his losses and get out of the game.
Where did you hear a ridiculous thing like that?
From you. Don't worry, I'm not going to be out on a street corner selling flowers or pencils. I'm just going to put my political career on hold and move back into the family business.
Charles, you are needed in government, not Sanders Industries.
Well, if I didn't know better, I'd say you didn't want me to go back to the business.
Oh, well, my dear, it isn't that.
Oh, well, what is it?
Well, it's something your father used to say. A Sanders never backs away from a fight. He was never a quitter, Charles, and I won't let you become one.
Your mother does have a point. I mean, politics is in your blood, if that's the case. I mean, you certainly can't just quit.
Well, ladies, I appreciate these words of support. But I have made up my mind, and if you'll forgive me and excuse me, I'm going to town to have lunch with John, okay?
I guess it's time that I left, too.
Oh, please, must you go? Could you spare me another few moments?
How could I possibly refuse you anything?
I don't think this is very smart of me, leaving the two of you together.
So now that he's gone, what shall we talk about?
I'm through talking, Dorian. I think it's time we took some action. You know, Dorian, the public has a notoriously short memory. I think in time they'll forget about Jamie Sanders. And with the right encouragement, I think that Charles can weather the storm and come back stronger than ever.
Oh, I'm sure you're right. It's just...
What were you about to say?
It's none of my affair, but I'll ask it. Is it that you're trying to keep Charles in the political arena, or that you're trying to keep him out of the family business?
Incredible.
I'm sorry, really. I shouldn't have asked that.
Your powers of intuition are even greater than I thought. No, it's true, you're quite right. I don't want Charles coming into the firm, and for very selfish reasons.
I had the feeling you weren't telling me everything, but you don't have to tell me any more.
No, I want to. You see, my dear, when my husband, Charles's father, was alive, he ran Sanders Industries with an iron fist. And then when he died, the board of directors tried to gain control from his poor, helpless widow.
You, helpless. Oh, they must have been surprised.
An understatement. I got up in that first board meeting and I let them know that I wasn't going to wrap myself in mourning and weep my way back to Palm Springs. Oh, no. I took hold of the reins of power, and I've held them tightly ever since. And you know something? I've never had more fun in my life.
So, of course, you don't want an upstart stealing your thunder, even if he is your son.
You don't think it's selfish of me?
Not at all. No. Let Charles keep his sights on the White House if he wants, and leave the family business to Mama.
Somehow, I knew that you, of all people, would understand.
I do. I know what it's like to fight for respect in a world of men.
In that case, perhaps you'll tell me something that's been something of a mystery to me.
What?
Why are you hitching yourself to a small-town detective like Jon Russell? With the right man by your side, Dorian, you could easily gain the world.
Thank you very much. Thank you. John, sorry I'm late.
Hello, Charles. Crisis in Washington?
No, actually a little closer to home than that. Dorian came by and gave us the latest in the sorry saga of Jamie Sanders. That sounds like the Late Show, doesn't it?
Yeah. Diane's confession, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Dorian wanted to tell you about it first, or I would have. I'm sorry, Charles.
That's all right, thanks.
Jamie's not the only thing on your mind, though, is it?
No.
You see, Judith told me that she was leaving you, asking for a divorce.
Well, you're her brother. I hope you don't blame me for that.
No, of course not. Hell, I've seen enough marriages break up to know it's not one person's fault.
Well, thanks for that. I think in this case, it probably was my fault. I was hoping at the last minute that she might have a change of heart, but I guess it was just beyond saving. Waiter, could I have a cup of coffee when you have a chance, please? Thank you.
Mrs. Garrettson, I have your table ready for you, or would you like to wait for your husband?
Well, my plans have changed. I'm going to be lunching alone.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Wow.
See, you still haven't curbed your roving eye, Charles.
John, man can't wallow in misery forever now, can he?
She's married.
Oh. Well, that's probably good. Now we can talk about something else.
Yeah. I guess Jamie's foremost in your mind, huh?
Jamie is the last thing I really want to talk about. Do you know that he took his murderous act on the road all the way down to Buenos Aires?
Right man at my side. Now, who would that be?
Well, a man of breeding, education, ambition. A man cautious enough to make the right friends and bold enough to make the right enemies.
A man like, your son, for example?
Oh, Dorian, my dear, I wouldn't dream of trying to pair you with Charles.
You really are remarkable. You're not only a political infighter, a captain of industry, you're still a mother with a soon-to-be single son.
Well, naturally, I'd like to have Charles find someone to share his life. Oh, naturally. I mean,
What would the president be without the first lady?
Dorian, I was speaking from the heart.
You were speaking from your mind as well as your heart. But that's nothing to be ashamed of. Your son is soon going to be the most eligible man in this state, maybe in this country, and any woman should be flattered to get his attention.
And you, Dorian? Any man would be flattered to have your attention as well.
I already have someone's attention.
Jon Russell. Forgive me if I think that Judith's brother is somewhat undeserving of your many attributes.
I think I've already imposed on your hospitality long enough.
Oh, dear, I've offended you.
No, you haven't. Not at all. You're a woman who knows what she wants, and you go after it, and I admire that. However, if I want something, I don't need an ambitious man by my side. I can just reach out and grab it all by myself.
Well, that's a point I'd like to debate at some future time. Can we have lunch together soon?
I can't see any reason why not.
Good. I feel we've just scratched the surface today. We have so much more to talk about.
I'm looking forward to it. In the meantime, I really must leave. Thank you very much for tea.
No, no, my dear. Thank you.
Charles, Judith is usually more cautious than that. I mean, she wouldn't go for a quickie divorce unless there was...
Go ahead and say it, John. Unless there was another man on the horizon, right?
She has been spending a lot of time with Herb lately, you know.
Yeah, but I don't think that she's serious about her, at least not yet. Right now, she's acting very much according to form.
How so?
Well, you know, Judith, she doesn't like loose ends. She's an attorney. Once a decision's been reached, she likes to act on it and move on to the next case.
Next relationship.
Well, maybe the next relationship. Certainly, I've given some thought to the future.
Well, do I get the job?
You?
Yeah. A, I can answer the phone. B, I proved my snooping talents by
No
exposing
way.
Diane. C, I don't really think you have any other alternative. So, our first order of business, I think, is to look through these things of Diane's. Unless you think there's something a little more important, boss.
Stop apologizing. I told you. It's going to be hard getting through this next few weeks, darling. I mean, you're bound to come up with memories of Diane.
Yes, it isn't just that.
No, I know. You always want to come off so strong and no weaknesses, but you're entitled to one or two, honey, and I'm always here for you.
That's really very sweet of you.
What are friends for?
Advice? Legal advice.
What?
Herb, I'm worried that the police may press charges against Cassie and me. After all, Diane did fall out of the window here.
Yeah. Lantano County is not contemplating bringing charges against you and Cassie.
I'm relieved. Thank you.
Yeah, Dorian, I could have told you that over the phone. I canceled an appointment with the mayor so I could rush over here. What gives?
It's just like you say, I need a friend. And since you are here, please sit down. I have a question I want to ask you.
Well, I'm here, so you might as well ask.
Judith's sudden decision to get a divorce, does that have anything to do with you? Are you saying that she didn't talk to you first before she left?
Well, of course we talk. We're friends. That's F-R-I-E-N-D-S, friends.
Herb, I know how to spell it. I also know that she relies on you for a lot more than just friendship. Didn't she ask your advice?
Well, no, as a matter of fact, she didn't, darling. Even if she had, I doubt I would have given it. As you very well know, divorce is up to the two people involved, nobody else.
Oh, yes. Well, that's very noble of you, very objective, very detached. Why don't I believe a word of it?
Well, you can believe anything you want. I've got some real problems to solve, okay?
Herb, why can't you just come out and admit that you're anxious for Judith to get a divorce so then she can be free to be with you?
Well, what if I am? What is it to you?
Oh, good. At last, the gloves come off. Whatever concerns you concerns me.
Well, not according to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We're divorced, remember?
We were once married, remember? And although that doesn't entitle me to tell you what to do, it does entitle me to care.
So care. Just don't nudge.
Herb, I can't help it if it gives me pain that you're about to make the single worst mistake of your life.
Oh, and what might that be?
Judith Sanders. As someone who respects you deeply, I have to tell you she is all wrong for you.
Dorian, as someone who occasionally respects you deeply, keep your opinions to yourself.
Cassie, this isn't like they make it seem in the movies. I mean, 98% of the time, detective work is just like working in any other office.
So if anything else, my typing skills will improve.
I'm serious.
So am I, John. I am prepared for this line of work. I helped expose Mitch Lawrence, didn't I? I went undercover as a drugged-up convert.
Yeah, I guess you did.
I helped David and Jenny escape aspiring in Vienna. I did everything from pose as Connie O'Neill to masquerade as a nun.
All right, so you know a little bit about the game, but that still doesn't mean you'll fit in around here.
Oh, I get it. What you're trying to say is that you don't want me around.
I didn't say that. Did you hear me say
Why don't you just say it? Do you want me around or don't you?
Not when you push my back up against the wall like that. You know, that's the same kind of power struggle stuff that your mother does to me at home. I sure as hell don't want to deal with it here.
Oh, well, I hate to point out the obvious, but I am my mother's daughter, not her clone.
I never said that you were.
Didn't you? I'm a very independent woman, Mr. Russell, and I'm perfectly capable of annoying you in my own unique fashion.
You already do.
I'll get it.
The game for the employee. You better
Excuse me. Jon Russell and Company. No, this is Mr. Russell's associate, Ms. Callison. Ah, Mr. Donaldson. Yes, I have a question for you. When you get your phone bill, do you pay it? Yes, I'm sure you do. And your utility bill. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you pay all your other bills in a timely manner. Am I right? That's right. So there should be no trouble in paying the Russell agency what you owe them, right? Great. We'll be expecting your check in the mail. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. That old skinflint's been ducking my bills for months now. I think he just met his match. One thing, though. Jon Russell Agency, not and Company.
Okay, fine. Can we please stop debating my qualifications here and just get down to work?
All right, let's see what you got here.
All right. Diane was so careful to cover up her past that there really aren't too many personal belongings in here.
What's this? It's like a diary. No, it's not very important anyway.
Well, if you can read it, it's okay.
All right. What I can't understand is how Dorian can love such a stuck-up, self-centered thing like Cassie.
Go on.
I know she's her daughter, but so what? If I had a child like Cassie, I'd have made sure she stayed in Vienna. Anything to keep her from loving, having her around to spoil my life. Hey, come on, Cassie, forget it. The girl was sick.
John, how can I forget it? Is that how people see me?
No, no one sees you like that.
Well, Diane sure did.
Yeah, but she didn't know the difference between right and wrong. Anyway, I don't look at you that way.
How do you see me?
Oh, no, you don't.
Come on, that's a perfectly legitimate question. Why don't you give me an answer?
Maybe in a couple of weeks after you work for me a while. Then I'll know the real Cassie.
Gio, look what I found filed under G.
My glove? Oh, the season's just around the corner, too. You know, maybe we ought to straighten up around here, get out and toss us a few, huh?
Is that part of my job? I mean, I have a great arm. I just want to know how much I should be asking for.
Well, I'm an equal opportunity employer. Minimum wage.
Minimum wage?
That's right. It's a glamorous job here, you know. Plus, you've got on-the-job training with the master.
Now that I really look forward to.
You do? Let's get back to work.
Yeah, gotta earn that minimum wage, right?
I forget that diary. I mean, it's a bunch of nonsense.
John, one thing about this diary is it really tells us a lot about why Diane did the things she did. Dorian's so blinded by love, why can't she see what's right under her nose?
She's talking about herself for a change, I guess.
She doubts me more and more, but she never doubts Cassie and Jon. Obviously, they're falling in love.
It says that in there?
Yeah, obviously she'd have to be really sick to write something like that. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, I agree. However, you know, I am considered a pretty good catch in some quarters.
So's yesterday's tuna. You gotta be joking. First, you are much too old for me. Second, you're not my type at all. And third...
Yeah. Third?
Third, we better get back to work or we'll never get outside to play ball, right?
Yeah. Keep that arm in shape.
Yeah, that's right.
Herb, I know you better than anyone.
If there's one thing I cannot stand, it is hearing you say how well you know me.
Who else can you turn to for advice?
I don't want your advice.
Well, like it or not, you're going to get it. Herb, you've got certain priorities, certain goals.
Here it comes, the gospel according to St. Dorian.
All right, I don't know everything, but I know my ex-husband. And you need a woman who isn't so wrapped up in her career and her ego that she hasn't got anything left to give you.
Yeah, first you know me, now you know Judith.
All right, it isn't that she's bad. She's selfish. I mean, really, Herb. Let's face it, the woman just isn't good enough for you.
You are exquisite, darling. You are truly exquisite. You call Judith selfish. My dear, never in the annals of recorded time has there been a woman more wrapped up in herself than Dorian Lord.
How dare you say that to me?
Oh, well, how dare you deny it? I spent every waking minute of that marriage ducking under the storm. And what did I ever get out of it from you but a migraine and an ulcer?
You ingrate. Why, there are men who would be on their knees, thankful for everything I have to offer.
Oh, well, that's you all right. Generosity itself.
Are you forgetting how hard I worked to get you elected as governor?
Oh, yes. You helped me so much I had to resign.
Yes, but you never would have been elected if it weren't for me.
Oh, what good is the brass ring if you have to give it back?
At least you held it in your hand for a moment.
Dorian, I didn't even make it to the inaugural ball. Don't you remember?
How could I forget? All those flowers and shrimp dip going to waste.
It was one hell of a night.
It was one hell of a marriage. And that is why I cannot bear to see you waste yourself on a
Enough
woman.
advice, okay? Okay. You make your mistakes, I'll make mine. I have to go to work.
Herb, never say I didn't tell you so.